Dune Imperium's components hold firm to its Dune universe setting. Notably, of course, there's an immediate artistic likeness with Denis Villeneuve's ongoing film adaptations and direct connections to the lore and story of Frank Herbert's Dune novel. But an additional parallel with the source material that players will notice as they break out the board and start sending agents off is the strategic political maneuvering to claim victory. Splicing together two extremely familiar mechanics, Dune Imperium is a surprisingly straightforward game given the complexities of other entries in the franchise. Players race to 10+ points through a mix of worker placement and deck building, with games lasting around an hour and a half. Each round, players dispatch agents to action spaces on the board, scooping up resources, faction influence, or troops. Culminating each round is a conflict that rewards players based on their combat strength, built up through a mix of spent troops and revealed cards. The bulk of actual play involves deciding where to send your agents as determined by the cards you've drawn. Dispatching an agent requires you to play a card with a symbol matching the space you want to send them to. Rather than playing all your cards at once, play passes around the table with each player taking a single action on their turn. Agents are the key. Players can have up to 3, and these subversive emissaries take the form of cards. Cards have their own unique abilities that shape the way a player can achieve their objectives and even change the tide of the game. Don't get me wrong, anyone is capable of playing and understanding the Dune Imperium's digital board game mechanics. How well players will fare against the formidable AI opponents, or how they will fare against other players in online matches, is another thing entirely. Getting used to the array of options can be quite intimidating for new players. Whether that's where best to send your agent game pieces, the host of card abilities offering different ways to play, or the various currencies which each have their uses. Even after figuring out how to play, the learning curve can be a tad steep to perform at a moderate level. This is perhaps one of the few blemishes of an otherwise great digital tabletop experience. An advantage of the digital version of the game is its varied and ever-changing modes, for example, the new skirmish challenges. Dune Imperium is overwhelming at first, addicting once you've grasped its gameplay, and potentially quite meta in the later stages. Regardless, however, of its inherent spiral to generally accepted winning strategy, the game, in its digital version, is a blast to start up and play a few rounds. Each new game feels fresh with the sheer variety of cards, types of resources, and agent placement opportunities to set out and conquer victory points. Dune Imperium is everything one would want from the digital iteration of a physical board game. Though with additions such as varying modes, online play, and built-in rule sets that change how players play, this game carves out its own unique place alongside its physical counterpart. Once players learn the ropes, Dune Imperium is a game they can come back to again and again, enjoying a new session each time the tabletop layout shuffles a fresh board.